In this video I'm going to show you 4 hidden tips in iMovie. The first one is using the R tool, and this is a tool that's not available as a menu item, so it is seriously hidden. Secondly, I'll show you how to create professional looking effects from the built-in effects in iMovie. That's the backgrounds and the titles. And then I'll give you a tip on how to declutter your hard disk by removing unnecessary files that iMovie no longer needs. And finally, I'll show you overlays. Now, these overlays will allow you to position things on your screen and they give you a reference point. At the end of the video, we'll review what you've learned. I'm Bruce McBride, and my goal is to improve your knowledge and to speed up your workflow in iMovie. In the description below, you'll find timestamps that will take you to each of these separate sections in this video. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and press the bell. It's not generally known that there is a range tool in iMovie, and what a range tool does is it allows you to select a certain portion of a clip and then make adjustments to that portion of the clip without affecting the other parts of the clip. If we look at this clip here, and let's just play it through.
I've progressed. Some railway boats with the biggest sails and biggest crews.
So I want to cut out that boats piece of the audio. So if I hold the R key down and select that as a range, and then just click on the line here, I could reduce the audio just within that range, so that now when it plays, there's no audio there. When we deselect the range tool, you can then adjust those keyframes that have been produced to fade in and fade out of the change of audio. And one of the other benefits of the range tool is that I'm just going to now Command plus to zoom in. If you're using the freeze frame here, and I've come up to the modify menu, select add freeze frame, that adds a freeze frame at a set duration. You can't adjust that duration. But what you can do with the range tool is if I just undo that now, and we'll use the range tool and we'll just select a smaller portion and then go to modify and select freeze frame. It only freezes the frame within the range that the range tool selected. Equally, I could hold the R key down and increase the length of that range so that the freeze frame will then go for that duration, and then come up to the modify menu and add freeze frame, and you can see you've got a freeze frame for all of that time rather than the set time that comes when you select freeze frame. Now when we use the range tool to select and reduce the audio in a particular section, then that audio doesn't have any background sound at all. So there's no ambient audio. So what we could do with this is we'll just undo that for a moment, select the clip, right click on it, detach the audio, we'll copy the audio, and then we will Command Z, that's to undo the action of detaching the audio, but the audio is still on the clipboard, so that when I paste it in here, there is a copy of the audio that's already in the clip. And what we want is this little portion at the beginning here, which just has some ambient noise. So using Command B, I can select that little piece of ambient audio and put that over the portion of the clip where there is no background sound at the moment.
With the bigger sails and bigger...
So it now sounds much more normal. If we were to delete that and play it again so you can hear, then you've got that no sound in there rather than the ambient audio. In the second hidden tip, I'm going to show you how to use iMovie's titles and backgrounds to add extra effects when you combine the two together. So let's just have a look at the concept of what I'm going to create.
was one of the favourite sons of the Sydney Flying Squadron,
So what we've done here is we have a background as our first start, and this is the pinstripe, and then we move into an opaque section which has got some water effect, and then it's blurred, and then gradually it comes out to a full resolution of the clip. So how are we going to produce this? Well, let's look at this portion here, and we don't have the background here yet. So we'll go to our backgrounds and we'll select the pinstripes and we'll drag that in as the first part of the clip. So that plays through and just jumps straight to the clip. Now we're going to add the underwater. We'll just drag a little bit of that over the pinstripe. But the underwater now is obviously too bright and too obvious. So what we need to do with that is to move here to the cutaway and we'll reduce the opacity a little. And so what we have now is the pinstripe moving to the water and then moving through and becoming clearer. And now we'll come to the titles. So we're going to use a title called Pull Focus. And we don't need the text in that, so we'll delete the text. And now we just have the blurred background in that effect.
One of the favourite sons of the Sydney Flying Squadron.
It jumps there. We can there fade that a little. So as we move over here now, we're coming in the pinstripe. It's fading into the pull focus. We can use a number of these little titles in the same way. We could use the Boogie Nights and take the text out and then just play that through.
So far this afternoon.
Or you could use the Pixie Dust. And there are others here that you could try out for yourselves. And also, when you're using the backgrounds, you don't have to stay with the colour range that the background has. So currently this one is quite blue. If we pop up here and come to our colour correction, we can change that so that we've got more yellow in it or more blue. And we can change those temperature ranges with these controls here. So that's a nice golden effect that you see there. And one of the other things I'd like to talk to you about in titles is the ability to use emoji. So if we come to our centered title here and we select on that and delete the title, then you can come to your emojis and let's say we want to put this emoji in. So it's in there, but it's set in the center. Well, you're not restricted to that because you can use the right-hand align or the left-hand align. So if you wanted it in the right-hand bottom corner here, you could simply press return several times and then right-hand align that. And there's our emoji sitting here as at a lower third. And the third hidden trick is the ability to save space on your hard disk. This is not an obvious feature that iMovie has, but it is very simply activated. And let me show you how we do that. iMovie creates render files, and these render files help to speed up your editing. But after you've finished editing, then these render files are rather unnecessary unless you want to edit again. And so what we can do is we can delete these render files. Don't worry, you're not going to have any footage deleted or any of your projects deleted. But should you want to re-edit the project, then iMovie will create the render files that it needs for you. So what you're going to delete are not necessary other than to speed up your current project. And so how can we do this? Well, you simply come to your preferences file in iMovie and you can see here render files, delete render files, and it will go through the process of deleting all the render files in the open libraries. And the fourth hidden trick in iMovie is the ability to use overlays. Now, I would give you warning here that when you use these overlays, you need to delete them or at least reduce the opacity before you export your video, because they will show. But I have produced several overlays that you can work with. And these are the overlays. This one here centers and will show you the horizon. This one here will show you the horizon and the safe zones for editing. And this one just shows you the safe zones. So how do we activate these? Just simply drag them down and put them in your clip and position them over the total top of the clip. And you can see the name of the overlay here, but you don't see the name in the browser. Currently, we've got the horizon only. And if we play this one through, we can see that our horizon is not that level in parts of this clip. In next week's video, I'll show you how to adjust the horizon. iMovie will let you rotate a clip, but only in 90-degree turns. So what I'll do in next week's video is I'll show you how to adjust that rotation so you can keep the horizon level. The other overlays, first of all, we've got the safe zone. And you'll notice because the Ken Burns effect is activated and always activated when you put a photo in, select fit. And now when you play through, you can see that the safe zones are not moving as per the Ken Burns effect. But if you're going to use these overlays, what I suggest you do is to go to your preferences in iMovie and change the photo placement from Ken Burns to fit. So if we bring in this one here now, put it in there, I can bring it and it doesn't need this Ken Burns effect change because it's gone direct to fit. And the final overlay that I've got here is something that YouTube creators will really like, because what this does is it shows you the positions of the I for information dot and the other overlays that show on the default YouTube screen. All of these overlays are free for you to download. The link is in the description below. And let me really be clear that once you have these overlays, you need to turn them off before you export the clip. And there's a couple of ways of doing that. So we've selected the YouTube one here. And if we come to the cutaway, we can change the opacity and fade it out, or we could just simply delete it. And the same applies for these other overlays. Select the cutaway and reduce the opacity, and then you don't see it anymore. I'd suggest that's the way that you probably should do it, because then if you want to come back at a later date and use that overlay, then all you need to do is to increase the opacity. So what have we learned in this video? Well, the R tool is a hidden tool. You need to hold the R key, then you can select a portion of the clip, and you can reduce the audio in that portion of the clip. We've also learnt that titles and backgrounds can improve the wow factor in your effects, and they can be combined to work together. And you could also change the color range of those backgrounds and titles. We've learnt how to save space on our hard disk by deleting the render files. And we've also learned how to use overlays, which are downloadable for free. See in the description below. Next Sunday's video will show you how to use the horizon overlay and adjust the horizon in your iMovie videos. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and press the bell, particularly if you want to see next week's video about changing the horizon in iMovie.